the Hub on Hollywood, an iHeartRadio podcast. I'm your co-host, James Rojas.
And I'm Jamie Blanco.
On this week's episode, a non-spoiler review of Sinners, the new Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan film that everybody is talking about. It's fantastic. I love this movie. I can't wait to get into it and gush all over it. The Last of Us has many of us gushing tears from our faces after the last episode. Andor Season 2 is out, and it is Andorific. And amazing.
Okay, we'll accept that.
That'll work.
Okay.
All that stuff and more. But first, Jamie, I think we have to address our audience.
Okay.
Issue an apology.
An apology?
Per last week's episode.
Okay.
We said something controversial.
Oh,
and,
no.
and people are not happy with us. And that is regarding the topic of chicken tenders.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry?
You shook the beehive. You shook the hornet's nest, and they're all coming after us right now. Because after the episode came out and we posted some videos on social media, the people were were angry, especially including the ambassador, the chicken tender ambassador of America himself, Wicked Joyful. He commented on our Instagram, and we do have to address it because we are people who are. We are, what's the word?
We have integrity.
We have integrity, we have integrity.
Empathy.
It doesn't look like it, but we do. No, the controversial statement that Jamie made, was that she doesn't believe that Puritan back room in Manchester, New Hampshire, created the chicken tender.
I feel like I had legitimate questions. That's all.
Oh no! And a lot of bad things happen with people just asking questions.
Okay.
But so we have Wicked Joyful. He actually commented on our post on Instagram, which if you're not following at Hub on Hollywood, check it out. But he goes, and this is a quote: "Fried chicken and perhaps even chicken fingers may have existed before it, but specifically the chicken tender was invented at the Puritan Backroom in Manchester, New Hampshire in 1974. Yes, there's a difference, and fortunately, I've done the research. Read the articles published in the New York Times, New Hampshire Magazine, and more. They're linked on his website, wickedjoyful.com. He also put some emojis of a chicken wing, a earth, and a crown. Also, I'd invite you to be the chicken tender capital of the world to have tendies with me. Tendies with me. And I'm sorry. Before you try to defend yourself, because this is the court of public opinion.
Okay.
I want you to press the space bar right here.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
put your microphone to to the computer.
I'm sorry. Okay, here we go.
Okay, Jamie, it's Matt Shearer. Listen, I heard your little debate about chicken tender lore, so I just wanted to clear up where I stand on this issue, because it seems like what people are the most hung up about is how you define a tender, versus a finger or a strip, all of which sound very sensual, but mean very different things when you're talking about the shape of the chicken. Now, was the Puritan backroom the very first place to throw chicken in a fry-later? Probably not. Were they the first to take a specific cut of chicken, fry it up, and call it a chicken tender? Probably. And I'm willing to be wrong if anyone can provide concrete evidence against this claim. But for now, and this message is specifically to you, Jamie, because I know you're the most skeptical here, just let them have this. Seriously, Manchester is trying so hard to get out of Boston's shadow, and if this gives them a sense of identity and hometown pride, then you know what? Hell yeah.
Shout out to Matt Shearer. Jamie, defend yourself.
Okay.
Your rebuttal.
Okay. I respect the research. I respect the claim.
The lore.
I respect the lore. Okay. I respect the tendies. I do. I just need a little clarification on the history. Yeah.
You want to do your own research.
Like Matt said, there's different terminologies and things like this, and people have been eating chicken for all of time.
Since
and
millennia,
look,
yeah.
If my research requires me to go and eat tendies and get educated at the same time, I think that is a worthwhile endeavor. I think that maybe I need to go out and have that journey.
Yeah.
I need to go on that journey.
Yeah, you need to spread your wings.
Right. I need to spread my crispy wings.
Yes.
And discover the answer for myself. So perhaps we should I don't think you're with me
No,
on this
no.
at all.
Well, I'm not questioning the legitimacy of the claims of Puritan ballroom,
Yeah.
but and I'm also no longer. I'm vegan right now, so so this is a journey you must go on your own with yourself, and
maybe some audio equipment.
Yeah. We'll send you all the
we'll
gear,
do that.
all the merch.
We've got to like connect this to movies somehow.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not trying to stir the fryer here. I'm not trying to stir the fryer. I just had some questions.
Okay.
All right, Manchester. Forgive me, but I feel like I'm still not 100% there.
Okay.
I'm not 100% there, but perhaps with some education and some meals, we can get there.
Excellent. Well, comment down below, those listening and those watching The Hub on Hollywood. Where do you stand on this chicken tender controversy, this chicken tender travesty that we've unleashed? We've opened this can of chicken worms. Oh, that does not sound good at all. I apologize for the last part. What we will not apologize for is bringing you the latest filmmaker news happening here in Boston and in New England. To reiterate, we have some casting calls locally for some projects. Right?
Yes, exactly. And I think what got us on chicken tenders originally was the fact that the Jersey Shore was here and they were at the Puritan back room.
Do you find it a coincidence that wherever the Jersey Shore pops up, drama arises?
So is it really my fault? Probably. But anyways, there are great casting calls. Perhaps people will forgive me, if I get them some work on a movie.
There we go.
Great films here in town, starting up this month and next. Last episode, we had the detailed listing of the casting calls, but just to remind everyone, we've got M. Night Shyamalan filming a movie in Rhode Island, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. The Rhode Island Film Office, keep an eye on that. They had put out an email for people to reach out to if they would want it to be background on this really exciting project.
Have you ever noticed that we've never seen M. Night Shyamalan in the same room as Timothy Chalamet?
Chalamet. Have we not?
Ignore me.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Are they, that's another.
I think they're the same person.
Is that something you need to research, James, and do your own research on?
I will. I'll report back to you.
Okay, that's great. And also, The Holdovers star Dominic Sessa is back in town. He's going to be playing Anthony Bourdain.
That's perfect casting. That is, I forgot to bring that up. That is perfect casting. I think he was fantastic in The Holdovers, his first feature film ever, and he knocked it out of the park. And I think he has what it takes. He has the look for Anthony Bourdain. I think he has the acting chops to do some chopping. In action.
Yeah. So
maybe he'll chop up some chicken tenders for Jamie over here.
Can we let the chicken go? Just let the chicken go. Or not. It's fine. We're definitely going to do that. Okay, Anthony Bourdain. The movie is called Tony. Being produced by A24. Also, your hero, Zorro himself, Antonio Banderas, is going to be in the film. The details are mostly under wrap, but this is going to be getting underway, filming in New England shortly.
Excellent.
Check out the local casting agencies, Boston Casting, Slate, Kendall Cooper. There's a bunch. Sign up for free on any of them and look out for your emails. And James, one other really exciting thing that I wanted to mention. We had Mr. Russ Gannon on, a local actor from Needham.
Great interview.
Thank you very much. Check out his interview in our last episode. He is in this fantastic film called EFIS, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. They just wrapped up a theatrical release. You can watch it now on Apple TV. And James, they've just announced that EFIS is going to Cannes.
All
It's
right.
going to be screening at Cannes next month. So just congratulations to all of them, all of the local principal talent, filmed here in Massachusetts. And just, it's really exciting to see this local project getting so much love and accolades and whatnot, great reviews. So hoping to have more of the cast on as well.
Yeah.
So way to go, Ethos.
Go, go, go. Yeah, and speaking about theatrical releases, let's go back to the box office because what is coming back to the movie theaters is one of the best films ever in history, depending who you ask and how old you are. But Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith coming back to theaters for its 20th anniversary, and
that's a typo, right?
that stings. Yeah, the re-release of the 2005 Star Wars film had a pretty good Thursday preview, $3.4 million last night, while The Accountant, the new Ben Affleck, our Boston boy, his film came in with $2.5 million. Again, this is just like the first day release for that The Accountant 2, which stars John Bernthal, Mr. Punisher himself. Also, though they are not making as much money as this film that we're going to be reviewing at the later in this episode, Sinners. Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, the director of Creed, now this amazing film. Really, really good turnout. This is its second week in the theaters, and it's already made around $84 million domestically and $180 million globally. This is with a budget of around $90 to $100 million, so already making its money back, and word of mouth is fantastic. And I'm only going to further that word of mouth because I loved this film. Just watched it last night, and so much to get into, which we will also get into. But sticking on the box office really quick, I heard that there's some controversy, of course.
Again.
There's always controversy, but this time Netflix is bringing the boxing gloves, right? These are some fighting words.
The co-CEO of Netflix, and I feel like Netflix is just trying to rub salt in the wound of movie theaters that are, have been struggling for years trying to get people back in. But anyways, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos says that the struggling global box office is a sign that consumers just want to watch movies at home. Thank you very much. And that and this as the studios and theaters are duking it out over trying to preserve the 45-day window, right, for releases that we had talked about before. And he called it completely out of step with the consumer experience of just loving a movie and being able to love that movie at home.
See, so the thing is, there are two things. One, that's clearly false, just given the fact that there are so many movies recently that people are flocking to fill those seats. Minecraft, that made or is about to make $1 billion. People flooding to the movie theater to go see that. As I said, Sinners, getting great word of mouth. People are willing to go to the movie theater for a great, or even at the very low bar, and good movie. And so when you have these very popular IPs, popular movies, or great reviewed and critically acclaimed films that are people are just talking about, people show up. They're going. I went to IMAX, and I would say over half of the movie theater was filled, and this was on a Thursday afternoon. And people are there. And so, of course, the person in charge of a streaming service would be saying people love streaming services so much that they're not going to the movie theaters. No, the reason is there are a lot of stinkers out there, a lot of movies that are just being, rebooted or spun off, and people are tired of those films, or they're just not good, and so they'd rather wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks for it to come to streaming. But when you have something that feels like an experience, people are willing to go out there to watch the film. So.
Yeah, it's also the price, too. Yeah. The price is skyrocketing, the food, the things. But what they're selling is the experience, right? Yeah. And you and I both love the movies. You can't have movies without the movie theater. You cannot have movies without the experience, right? Movie theaters are never going to go the way of the dodo.
Don't you dare to say that. I was just thinking, imagine in 50 years somebody plays this video again. They're like, look at those idiots talking about movie theaters existing. Now we have.
Do you think that dodos, they had no wings because they got turned into tendies?
Yes.
Way back?
Yes, and they're delicious.
Right.
10 times more delicious
existed back then, and So who invented the tendies? Anyways, we're just gonna keep milking that.
No, we're going to milk this entire episode with chicken tenders. But yeah, so I think, of course, the guy in charge of the streaming service is going to tell people that streaming services are great and that you really don't like the movie theater experience.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He just wants you to watch everything on Netflix. On your.
I got rid of my. Did I tell you I got rid of my Netflix?
No,
so
you were always teetering.
I was always teetering, and then I finally taught it over. And I got rid of Netflix, though I replaced it for another streaming service. I got back to Max, HBO Max. So I got rid of HBO Max like last year, and now I'm back on it just because The Last of Us is back.
Right.
So that may be a good transition. I'll just leave the CEO Netflix thing by saying you're wrong. You're wrong.
Shake a fist. Yeah.
If great movies are made, people will come. If you build it, if you make it, they will come.
Exactly.
And speaking of, again, HBO Max, and my reasoning for resubscribing is The Last of Us. Season 2 is out. Last week we talked about the first episode, which was a good kind of like, resetting of the scene, catching us up with where the characters are 5 years later, setting up the conflict and the drama that will erupt literally in some cases. And in this episode, spoilers. We're gonna touch on spoilers. We're not gonna go too in depth, but this is the main spoiler. For those who are not familiar with the video game, what happened in the video game to one of the main characters happened viciously, ruthlessly.
See, I've known for the last couple of years. I watched like all the cutscenes from the video game, which you can watch on YouTube, like a movie. So I've known, and I've been hoping upon hope that they would change something, right? That maybe this didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And I guess that.
See, I'm on the other end. It sucks that it happened, but I think it's critical to the story. It's important to the character arc for Ellie. And so changing it would piss off a lot of people, even though people love the certain actor and the character, of course, and especially for those who had no idea what happened in the video game, never played it, never looked at videos or whatnot. And so the shock, especially episode 2 of the second season, big surprise to a lot of people. So I think they had to keep it in, and I'm glad they kept it in. It had that emotional weight, had that emotional impact. I can't wait for the next episode.
Impact.
Yeah. You haven't watched the episode?
No.
So this is the next point of discussion regarding this, because people are saying, people who've especially played the video game and are watching the series, they've kind of brought this to light, saying that there are people online who've been saying that they no longer want to continue watching the series after this big event occurred, because obviously, it's a very favorite character. Again, we're dancing around it, but you may be able to deduce what we're talking about. And so there are people saying that they have no reason to watch it because a certain character was their main reason for wanting to watch it. And these people, reviewers and video game players, they were saying, it happening in the video game, it's much easier to continue with the story because you're physically playing the game, you're moving characters, and you're prolonging the story. When it's translated onto the screen, it's much easier for somebody to just put the quote controller down, to put the show away,
right?
Because they've lost investment in it, and they likened it to what happened with The Walking Dead. This is Walking Dead. It's over. I mean, it's still going on. I guess
it's still going.
It's still going. But Glenn, the character Glenn, when Glenn was killed off in season 4 or 5 or whatnot, Walking Dead, they died. It basically died, or became a shadow of itself. Became a walker, because after Glenn died, one of the most favorite characters of the show, has been there since episode 1. They lost like 2 million viewers the next week and every week since then.
Yeah.
And so people are saying, online, that they either don't want to continue the story, or they're so shocked by it, and then because again they had no idea that they're dropping off. Is that how you feel?
I would say that even in the video game,
I
think you described it very well. You can remain invested and keep playing it, but even so, that storyline was very unpopular and controversial when the game came out. So I was hoping that they could dance around it somehow or push it back to further in the season, or we can have sort of like forward flashes, backward flashes where we keep this character sort of invested, keep the audience invested in this character because we continue to show him throughout the season, just in like flashbacks and things like that. Look, this character has died on screen before in equally brutal and horrific ways.
Yeah.
And people were able to continue being invested in the show, but that's because that show had a lot more characters to be invested in, a much broader world. So, I'm going to keep watching the show. I haven't watched episode 2 because I can't stand to see it, this part. Like, I know it happens. I know it's brutal. I know it's like just the worst thing ever. I will continue watching after episode 3.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think for me personally it's going to turn me off from watching the rest of the show because I think it's a really excellent show with a really excellent story. I love Bella Ramsey so much, and I want to see what happens next, but I just can't watch the violent part. This particular violent part. I love the clickers. I really am.
This is a really good, because like that's one part of this episode, but the rest of the episode, you know, the town becomes like under siege of thousands of walkers. They're not walkers, so they're like the infected. I think the
clickers.
They're clickers. That's a type of infected.
Oh, that's the bigger ones.
Yeah, well, the bigger ones are called something else. The clickers are the ones that click and like they use sonar. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I think they're in generally they're referred to as infected or the infected.
Okay.
Anyway, not important. But the thing is, but the lot of other things that happen in the episode. Again, the town becomes under siege by thousands of infected, and it's a very gripping scene of people trying to survive and defend the town and defend each other. And there are moments where you're like, clenching the side of the couch because you don't know what's going to happen. So it's a great episode all around, and
they're great zombies.
I will say, I do think we are going to get more Pedro. I think we're going to get more Pedro through flashbacks. There's a scene in the first episode, at the end of the first episode, where after the confrontation inside the church, Ellie is walking back home and she sees Joel on the porch with the guitar. And it kind of ends right there. So I think they're going to flash back to them having a discussion. I think they're going to have flashbacks to other moments.
So it's not the end, people.
Yeah.
It's not the end. He's still going to be...
If by now you don't know what we're talking about, we're just going to flat out
you
say
said
it.
the name.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
He's still going to be this great emotional motivator, for Ellie.
What if they force ghost him? What if he just comes back as a force ghost, like Star Wars?
Will he have tendies?
He'll have tendies.
Yeah.
He'll just have a
Here's
bucket
some
giving
wisdom,
Ellie advice. Watch out for that clicker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. Well, The Last of Us is a fantastic show. It's great so far, and I can't wait for episode 3. But speaking about another great show and episodes 1, 2, and 3, Andor Season 2 came out this week, and they released the first 3 episodes, which I love because, like the previous season, have you seen the first season?
Okay, I'm a terrible Star Wars fan.
Terrible. This is like the best Star Wars ever.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know it is. My aunt's been trying to get me to watch it forever.
Yeah.
I feel like my heart still wasn't healed completely after the last trilogy. But here's a great opportunity to finally get into it. But I will let you take it away because you're a much better Star Wars fan than I am.
I won't give away too much spoilers, but I do love that they released the first 3 episodes of the season 2 at one time, because in the previous season, and those who've watched the first one, they know that there were 9 episodes and they were broken down in 3 sections. And so the first 3 episodes follow one arc. And then the next 3 episodes, say 4, 5, 6, follows another arc. All the same characters are there, but different points on their mission of the story are broken up into 3 sections, and it feels like a movie. So each section is like, you have like 30, 45 minutes, so it kind of builds up to like a short movie. The first 3 episodes followed by the next 3 and then the last 3. And so with this season, they released the first 3 and you follow this arc of, this is a year after the events of the previous season. We see it opening up with Cassian Andor on board at this this Empire base, and he's there to steal a new prototype of a X-wing fighter. What's the TIE fighter?
There you go.
This is an experiment, like prototype of a TIE fighter, and so it opens up with that, and it's very exhilarating and very exciting. And I think it's off to a great start. It's already getting wicked crazy, wicked awesome reviews. Like Metacritic is like through the roof. It's like an A, which is like very rare and unheard of for any show or any movie. So. And I can attest, it's a great show, off to a great start, and the acting's phenomenal, the action's phenomenal, the visual effects and the CGI phenomenal. It makes me wonder again. I think I mentioned it last week with, I forget what we were talking about, but with Daredevil, they're able to do this for Star Wars, for Andor. Make everything look fantastic. Make it look like, and I'm sure a lot of it was shot on location in fields, on mountains, and all these different places. Why can't they do these with the actual big movies they're promoting? It's mind-boggling the night and day contrast between the quality of the storytelling and all this other stuff between Andor and the rest of the Star Wars.
I feel like these shows get a little bit more leeway, right? They have a little bit more freedom to tell the story that they're telling, whereas like the mainstream Skywalker, saga was just all tied up with like corporate executives putting in, it has to have this and it has to have. There was just way too much meddling.
Yeah.
And the story didn't. If the story's not there, nothing else falls into place either.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. They need to study Andor and just repeat.
And just do that.
Just, again, not even repeat the beats, but just repeat the quality and investment and the love and dedication that's put into this series, because there's no reason why it should be this good. There's no reason why a Star Wars product should be this good. But it is. So I think everybody does great. I can't wait to see more of the...
Well, and Rogue One was good.
Rogue One was good. Even though
this is leading up to, correct?
Yeah. So this will be... I think the final season, and then after this, it'll lead directly into Rogue One. And from my understanding is there's going to be a mini time jump, I think, in between each of the 3 episodes. So these first 3 episodes aired, and when we come back to episode 4, there will be some sort of time jump. Because right now they're in BBY4, which is like 4 years before the Battle of Yavin. So I think they may jump maybe 2 years, and whatever they do, I'm excited for it. So let us know what you think about The Last of Us and what do you think about Andor, because this is great television that I can't get enough of, and I'm trying to just soak it all in while it lasts, while this good stuff lasts.
From great television to great movies.
Great movies. This is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. I would say the best movie of the year so far, Sinners. Sinners, the latest film from Ryan Coogler, again, the director of Black Panther, of Creed, of Fruitvale Station. This is probably his best film. And I can't speak more highly of this one. And this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I would recommend don't watch the trailers. You can watch the first trailer. It's like a teaser kind of trailer for the movie. The second one gives away spoilers. And a lot of people, and I myself, went into the movie knowing what the actual plot was, or more of the plot details and things to expect. That didn't change my experience. But if you went into this movie cold, you would be, I think, hit with this amazing twist, this amazing development that would just knock your socks off. And again, so if you can, try to avoid watching trailer 2, or try to avoid watching any other reviews or spoiler reviews before watching this. But this stars Michael B. Jordan. He plays not one person, he plays 2 people. He plays twins, the twin brothers Smoke and Stack. Haley Steinfeld in this film, Delroy Lindo, Jack O'Connell, and introducing for his first film ever, Miles Caton. I believe it's Miles Caton, Caton. He plays Sammy Moore, this young blues guitarist. He wants to be a musician. He's the son of a preacher, and so his nickname is Preacher Boy. But he doesn't really want to follow in the preacher's footsteps, his father's footsteps. He wants to, do what his heart's telling him, and that's to play blues music, to play music. And this story is it's a historical rated R horror film. Takes place in 1932 Jim Crow era Mississippi. The story follows the brothers of Smoke and Stack, again played by Michael B. Jordan, who there are many films where like the same actor kind of plays a twin. Recently, Mickey 17, where you have Robert Pattinson playing himself. You have like clones, or you have the Flash, Ezra Miller. There's like two versions of the Flash, but in those films, I don't know. I haven't seen Mickey 17, to be fair. I haven't seen The Flash, but I've seen many clips of The Flash, and it just kind of doesn't look very great, the CGI work in general, but also just kind of like them being next to each other. It feels like you can tell one was filmed on this side, and then he redid his shot on this side. It didn't look that really that smooth, or it took a lot of effort to make them both fit in that screen, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But for this film, you have Michael B. Jordan interacting with Michael B. Jordan so well, and even after like the first minute after seeing these two, you kind of forget of how that this is the same actor playing two different people. It like the character, like personality wise, they're different, and they're identical twins, but but he is able to portray each brother differently enough where there's no mistaking which one's which, and who's with who and all this stuff. So that worked out so well. Basically, the two brothers, Smoke and Stack, their nicknames, they return home to their small town in Mississippi after being in Chicago for 7 years. This is also after fighting in World War I. They come back with the goal of opening up a juke joint, basically like a nightclub for blues players, so the black community can come in, party, spend their money, drink, dance, and have a good time. However, things turn upside down when a greater evil awaiting welcomes them back home. So many great things to talk about this film, and I'll break this up in different categories. Again, I won't go in depth. All I'm saying is I love this film. The action, if you're looking for a great action film, this has a lot of great stuff and creative. Again, it's so hard to talk about what they're fighting without spoiling it.
Okay.
So I won't go in too much detail, but the action is great. A lot of like hand-to-hand action, gunfight action, wooden bats and sticks action, all that stuff. That's great. There's an element of drama in this film because the Smoke and Stack, the brothers, they return home and they've burnt a lot of bridges when they left, and so they're coming back into this small town where everybody knows they're back, and these guys they're tough guys. They're on the crime side of the law. I guess they were lawbreakers, I guess you could say. And so, but they're rough and tough kind of guys who people don't want to mess with, but they've also burned a lot of bridges. And so there are a lot of people that are just not happy with them being back. The horror aspect of this film, I wouldn't say it's straight, full-blown horror. If you have any questions, please let me know. There's so much fun elements in this, but when the horror cranks up, it cranks up to a 10. And there are moments where I'm literally like my heart is beating because there's a moment where there's one character on the side of a door and there's another on the other side, and there's a small hole that was punctured by a knife, and one character comes in.
Never look in the hole.
Never look in the hole. But several characters get right up close into it. And I'm not going to say anything, but like it's tense. Like I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, that's just one example of like a tense moment.
Don't you know you're in a horror movie?
I know, don't you know? There's a lot of thrilling stuff in this film as well. But the one part that everybody is talking about and that impacted me the most of this film was the music. Oh. As I mentioned, there's this character named Sammy. He's a young guy, 20-something years old, and he has it's in his blood to sing, to perform, to play the guitar. And in the beginning of the film, and this isn't a spoiler, but in the beginning of the film, there's a voiceover that describes people with a certain supernatural gift throughout the millennia. So it goes back to African tribesmen, to Native Americans, to people, ever since humans could play music, there have been people with the ability to, through their performing of music, whether it's singing and or playing an instrument, they're able to transcend space and time and dive into or connect with spirits of the past, present, and the future. And there's a sequence, a one-shot sequence in this film where music captures those who are in juke joint, in this nightclub, and everybody's entranced by this music. And this is the first time, and I'm being completely honest, this is the first time I felt kind of hypnotized while watching a film.
Cool.
Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I felt the music through my body while watching this film. After the film, I go check out some reviews. I'm reading online on Reddit what people are saying. Every comment was bringing up this sequence, that it had such a physical and emotional impact to them. I'm trying not to hype this up too much because I've been talking to my wife about this.
Hype it.
But it's a very transformative sequence in this film. That's really hard to explain, and I can only say just go in and experience, because it's such creative filmmaking, not only in the technical sense, in the work of the one shot that Ryan Coogler was able to direct, but also the technical sense, the musical sense, the score of the song, visually it's beautiful.
So you would say it's a very unique experience.
It's a very unique experience that
and that's incredibly difficult to pull off.
And again, I'm not the only person who thought this. Like, again, this is what I felt in the theater. And right after, I had to look up to see what people were saying about this. Every top comment on Reddit, so don't look at Reddit before you watch this film, but every top comment on Reddit was describing and talking about this sequence. So it was like, it's not just me feeling this.
Yeah.
Like, many people have felt this.
I feel like this movie came out of nowhere, though. I don't remember like hearing the marketing or build up for it. So it's kind of a sleeper. When did you hear about it? And so you were talking about the word of mouth, too.
So the thing is, I actually saw the first trailer several weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I'll be honest, I watched the trailer and I wasn't that... My interest wasn't piqued. It really wasn't. I thought, okay, Ryan Coogler is a great director. Michael B. Jordan, he's fantastic. It just didn't it didn't make me think about, I'm definitely going to go see this movie in theaters. But then word of mouth. The word of mouth on this film is doing wonders for it, and this is why it's doing so great at the box office. And I imagine this is one of those films that will be kept in theaters for a longer period, for that at least 45-day period, because people are wanting to go watch this, especially in IMAX. I didn't even talk about IMAX. This was filmed for IMAX. And one great thing that they do, again, visually speaking and technically speaking, cinematography speaking, there are moments where you have the aspect ratio, go down, where you have the black bars on the top and bottom of the screen, and then there are sequences where those black bars rise up, and you have the entire IMAX screen available. And it's during these sequences where, for example, the music sequence or dance sequences or certain important moments where you feel that. I think that's part of what got people like myself feeling like hypnotized by this film, because you're enveloped by it. But the use of IMAX and the format is done perfectly in this film. And so that's why I recommend not only watching this in theaters, but watching it on an IMAX if you can, because that experience was fantastic.
That's right. It's not just waiting for it to be streaming on your little TV screen
or watching
at
it on
home.
your phone. No,
IMAX.
Absolutely not. IMAX. Again, I'm not going to give away spoilers. If you do know the quote twist or whatnot, it does not ruin the film for you, because I knew it going in, and this is a great movie. If you're a music fan, if you're a blues fan specifically, wait for the end of the movie. There's a mid-credit scene, after-credit scene. wait for that. You will be rewarded if you are a blues fan, if you are a music fan. It's a beautiful ending. I was telling my wife because I'm describing the sequence to her and the vibe. It's all about vibes during the sequence and during other parts too. But I'm telling her about this, and I showed her the trailer, and she goes, "This is not what you described to me at all." And I said, "Yeah, the trailer doesn't it isn't what I described wasn't the horror film that I watched." And so she was kind of taken aback by the trailer. But the more I'm talking about it, and even before this podcast, I was telling her, I keep thinking about the sequence, and I keep thinking about this movie. And she's not a big fan of horror films, but she says, and I told her I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything. And she says, no, I don't want to know anything. I want to go in cold. So this is a film that she actually wants to watch now, which I'm more than willing to and happy to take her to go watch again, just because there aren't that many films that stick with you. That this film is sticking with me. So if you are a fan of horror, if you're a fan of action, if you're a fan of history, again, this takes place during 1930s, segregation, Jim Crow era Mississippi. So it has that aspect to it as well. And there are a lot of messages and things that you can dissect, talking about current day politics, past day politics, and whatnot that you can decipher. So if you're into any of this stuff, there is something in this film for you. I feel like I could talk for hours about this film, and I would love to talk about a spoiler, go in depth about spoiler stuff, down the road. But like I said, I think this is a 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10 film. Wow. You should watch it right now, and just
so Oscar contention.
Oh my God, Ryan Coogler. I'm saying it right now. Has to be nominated for Best Director. Has to be nominated for Best Writer. He also wrote this film. The cinematography needs to be nominated. The attire, everything about this film is nearly perfect. There's one little thing that I could quote maybe nitpick that kind of felt forced near the end, but even then, it's an enjoyable sequence. Yeah, it's an enjoyable sequence that I think the director was like, we still got time. Let's throw this in here. And does he need to throw it in there? No, not really. But he does, and you know what? I'm not complaining about it. I won't complain about it because it's a really fun and weird to say feel good moment in this film. But Sinners. Go watch it in theaters while you can before it gets snatched out of theaters and put on some streaming service. Watch it on IMAX.
James loves this movie. And if you love movies, continue to hang out with us here on the Hub on Hollywood.
Yes.
Because we will bring you these reviews. This passion, right?
El pasión.
El pasión. Para las películas. Sí. And we will bring you reviews. We will bring you casting calls. We will bring you interviews. We've got more exciting interviews with great local filmmakers coming up in the weeks ahead. So stick around for that.
Yeah.
James, where can they find us?
You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So whether you listen to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we are there. Anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find us on all the social medias at Hub on Hollywood, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on Blue Sky. You're on Twitter, X, all that jazz, Instagram. Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter still. Yes. And again, the most important part is if you are watching us on YouTube, thank you for the support. Subscribe and join us. We are on a mission to reach 500 subscribers this year. As we mentioned in 2 episodes ago, we broke 400 after 4 months after breaking 300 before that. So right now we're at last check 436 subscribers in the past 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So help us get to 500. When we get to 500, we're gonna talk about a criteria of sorts, but we're gonna pick somebody, a lucky listener, a lucky viewer, and you have the chance of winning. You will win, whoever we pick. We'll get a shirt and a Hub on Hollywood hat on us. Merch. So so much great stuff right now. I'm feeling euphoric right now after talking about Sinners and all this great stuff that we're watching. The Last of Us, Andor.
It is raining down upon us.
Rain on
this
me.
Great.
Rain on me. What's that Lady
whatever
Gaga
that
song?
is. Yes. So we will continue to have that. We'll have some some movie time, right? Some movie
Yeah.
time at home, and then maybe some chicken tenders after that
You know it.
from the Puritan back room.
Get the AMC chicken nuggets, the Impossible Nuggets.
Impossible Nuggets
the
are great
Impossible
too. Man,
Nuggets.
oh my
those
God,
are
they're
bomb
so good.
Diggity. Don't read the nutrient facts, the nutritional stats and information for the Impossible Nuggets.
Are they really that impossible? Are they like not real like veggies and stuff? Or
Oh, no.
Is it, like, made of
They're
sawdust?
No, they're vegan. It's just like they taste very good for a reason. They taste unbelievably good for a reason. So just
Okay.
don't eat
All
it.
right.
Don't eat it often, but when you can, eat it. When you go to the movie theaters, it's so good. My wife and I were
Sounds good.
talking about it. Like they should make these AMC Impossible Nuggets available to the stores to sell it.
Yeah, maybe
to
they
locals.
make more money.
They should. However, that'd be bad for my health. That's how good they are and bad they are for you.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. Well, let us know what you think. Thanks again for stopping by the Hub on Hollywood. Until next week, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. See ya.
Bye.
Chicken nugget.